Hey everybody, welcome to MichMusic Now. I'm Michele Weir and I'm here with Kerry Marsh, the great and powerful. And we're in Monterey at the Next Gen Jazz Festival, which is, in my humble opinion, one of the best festivals in the country. And we just heard a bunch of vocal groups, and man, they were really good.
Yeah, it's such high level stuff right now with both high schools and colleges. Just they're all pushing really challenging, interesting artistic literature, I think, and I hear it so much now. But at the Monterey Festival, when they've auditioned to get in, right, it's just nothing but really fine stuff. And we're looking for the micro details, aren't we, when we're judging this?
Yeah.
And we judged with Michael Mayo, the incredible emerging talent.
Michael Mayo.
Yeah. We'll put an image right here. I don't know what you're going to do later. Anyway.
Oh, we'll just we'll just blitz it all through the whole.
That's right.
Michael Mayo. Yeah. Look up michaelmayo.com. But anyway, we had a good time, and Kerry and I were talking about stuff, and I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
That you can answer through your infinite wisdom on all things. So we're living in a technological age in a big, giant way, right? Technology is blossoming before our eyes.
Yeah.
And I remember, in regard to vocal groups and how it relates to vocal groups, and in regard to how it relates to recording vocal groups and things like that, I remember Clark Burroughs from the High-Lows and Don Shelton and different people talking about back in the day. That's right, there used to be a big band live in the studio. Then the four guys like the High-Lows would go around a microphone and do it live with the big band, and that was it. Get it right the first time. Now, these days, anything is pretty much possible. You could probably just sing a monotone note and get the words out and turn it into a vocal group arrangement. It can be, it can be edited to the ultimate precision. And my question is that a good thing, or is that not so much of a good thing?
And I don't think we'll probably leave this with the answer. So just so you know, spoiler alert, I don't know if by the end we will have worked it out, but I think it is worth talking about. It depends on the context, I'm sure, and as everything does. I can tell you how I use pitch correction in my life. It's a really big part of my life, and I've done sort of online, like watch me pitch correct myself on this thing that I've done, and I'm not ashamed of having used it as a tool, really, for demo recording purposes, especially. The trick to Kerry Marsh vocal jazz demos has been that I go in and very quickly, like in an hour and a half or something, sing pretty rough versions of all the guys' parts. I kind of sight read it, for the most part.
All the men's parts.
The men's parts, yeah. And so sometimes I'll quickly, roughly do the gals' parts just to like kind of double check the voicings and things. But then in order to hear, especially the women's parts, if I'm going to do that, I would go in and meticulously, note by note, pitch correct everything. And it's not too long of a process. It might take me something like 3 or 4 hours for a whole chart. That's a bit, but it works out for the purpose of demonstrating an arrangement, and I think we put a pin in that because I think that ends up being a topic later. But at least, so when we do that, then our trick is that Julia Dollison, my wife and collaborator, she comes downstairs.
Goddess of song, I like to call her.
Yeah.
Really, she's so well. If you probably know, if you're watching this, you probably know, but just in case you don't, Julia Dollison.
She'll come downstairs after I've laid those tracks down that I've kind of robotized a little bit. I try not to make it crazy, but and then she'll track on top of it carefully, and she'll take her time, and she'll sing well in tune, like you did in the old days, and like so many student groups are doing right now. So it isn't to discount that people are singing really well in tune, but that's the combination of things that we do. She sings naturally over the top of my corrected parts, and then it comes out, I think, sounding pretty good. The guys will hear my robo parts when they hear part tracks, and then the women hear Julia with all of her style and all that, and somehow that's been it's been successful. It works okay. It's our workflow. But then the question is, of course, as Downbeat roughly, was it like 10 years ago, started saying something about pitch correction. Hey, please don't pitch correct your submissions for our awards. They say if any of that's been done, we'll throw it out. I'm really sure that people have gotten away with it, in that time, really, and because it's a little hard to prove. I think, but there's an effect. It's called comb filtering, and I don't know.
Comb filtering.
Comb filtering.
Comb filtering.
And I can't tell you exactly why this happens. I don't know the technical aspects of it, but it is that sort of brittle sound that you get when you have maybe a bunch of stacked parts that are all kind of square in the middle of the pitch. It's that thing
and then
that
it
sounds
does
robotic.
some sort of, okay.
It just goes. It's got this kind of a bright, brittle sound, and a proper audio technical person will tell you why that's happening. I just know that it's a thing that it's not a terribly pleasant sound, and when we hear like Jacob Collier getting into the detail of singing 5 cents sharp on this kind of a note, and it's a third, so I'll sing. I don't know. I can't remember all of that. It's brilliant what he does, but he definitely is trying to let us know. Look, equal temperament isn't. That's not the end of it, essentially, and that is the way pitch correction is usually being done on professional group recordings, and surely a lot of student group recordings. It's a time saver, right? So people they want their group can sound really, really amazing. Somebody's sick that day and doesn't quite get there, and they give them a nudge and so on. But of course, then what is the philosophical question? Is what is the point of doing vocal jazz recording? Because our genre, when you listen to the old Take 6 and you listen to Singers Unlimited and High Lows, all of it, it was the gymnastics of this voice leading is kind of hard. These chords are surprising from moment to moment, and it's so authentically jazzy, and there's dissonance and resolution, and that's a lot of the game for, I think it is. And so now we just you can't root for a group when you're listening to it, because it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. They're going to make all the chords. They're building to a big moment, but I'm sure it'll sound in tune, and it does. And I think as a culture, this is the old man coming out in me, I guess. As a culture, I think we've gotten used to that, and it's possible that over time it'll make vocal jazz recordings less interesting to listen to and to seek out. And I don't know what the answer is on that.
When a group goes in and they record one part at a time, which a lot of groups do that, or maybe they start with like all around the mic once, and then they go in individually and redo their parts, and then do the middle parts or whatever, as opposed to doing it all live. The tuning changes. Correct?
Yeah, I
Isn't
think
that
so.
part of it?
I think it must do, and I think that the groups that can actually they really still in 2019 and beyond will allow their actual singing to go out into the world. If it sounds really great, it's going to work for our ears. I think. I wonder about the students that have listened to a lot of corrected music on recordings, if they'll hear it and maybe it'll sound a little squirrely, or it'll sound out of tune to them or something. It's hard to tell what their perception is of it. And this has been where I kind of run into a wall and don't know where the conversation leads, because who are any of us to I've done a lot of pitch correcting, so
it's hard to portend the future of what path this is going to go to. I have something that just came up. I had never thought of this before, but we've got the iReal Pro, so our ears are a little bit acclimated. A lot of people will practice improvising with the iReal Pro, plus call-up charts, to reference charts.
Right.
And also we use Band in a Box. Some people are using that for things. And what else was I going to say? There was one more case where people are so used to using the technology that we kind of almost desensitized to how kind of the humanness and the analog quality of it is no longer there, and the perfection is there.
There's something that they've started at our school at UNC. They're doing a jam session specifically called the Heartbeat Jam, and it's the idea of play with somebody with a heartbeat, because all the cats are spending so much time chatting with the devices and even Abersalts and pre-recorded tracks, learnjazzstandards.com, all those things. So to play with real folks, even though what they do might not be as supportive all the time, there's so much more to gain from that. So I guess you can make the connection to the humanness of a group's a group sitting around one mic, or at least taking their live performance. I think there's more heart possible there with some flaws and some mistakes in the music, and then achievement in certain big parts. But then again, we talk a lot about pitch correction maybe in our small little circle, but but then there's a lot of other things that we're compressing. Like I think you mentioned it yesterday. We're compressing and we're riding levels, so balance isn't really an issue in the recording process. And we haven't complained about that for decades. We just do it. That's fine.
That drives me crazy. The overly compressed vocal group that's so perfect, and there's so many different notes and different chords and vocal acrobatics going on, and then it's compressed like a pancake, like a pop tune to me.
Radio ready,
sometimes,
right? Super loud overall. If you looked at the wave file,
yet all these jazz chords are going by it. You know, these incredible jazz chords, and it's so, to me, it's a bit unsatisfying.
It is. It is. I mean, well, you know, are people listening in the car where there's noise going on that they kind of need you can't dip down in the bass solo or something? And I don't. For whom are you mixing these? Are you for people who are commuting, or for audiophiles who listen in their living room or something? And again, don't know and don't know where it's going. But I've just been wondering about what is really going to be the future of recording group vocals. I think we have to look to Jacob and see watch his process, because I don't believe. I mean, Jacob's processing like crazy, and it's all his work, and that's part of the genius and the sculpting of what he's doing. Jacob Collier, everyone. If I didn't say his last name, I think you know him well. Look him up. Look him up. He's an up and comer. But when you've seen his process, he really is. He's not tuning stuff. I mean, he is tuning the stuff, and with an incredible amount of precision. He's balancing by I'll record another ninth. I just need it to be a little louder, so I'll just record it again. I have 1,000 tracks in Logic. It's a wild process, and I want to encourage people to do that. I think it's really an exciting thing for individuals to do, and to go into your little hideaway or work with most of the time work with other singers. We don't all have all the notes that he
that's
does,
a whole nother tangent we could talk about too, is the looping. Live looping is such a cool thing. And Michael Mayo, did we say Michael Mayo yet?
We should have said Michael Mayo.
Michael Mayo.
We should have said that.
Yeah, we should have said that instead. So anyway, yes, he did, that's one of the things that he's doing. And many vocal groups are doing it, and it's really cool. But again, technology, is it good? Is it bad? Is it, somebody's like doing octave doubling with themselves and harmonizing with themselves. I mean, for me, I feel, wow, there's a lot of creative human input in that, more so than just fixing the recording overly perfectly.
Yeah.
I really like the looping idea as kind of an extension of a new instrument, or it's like it is a new instrument.
I think so. Well, who was it? Ursula Dudziak and some. I mean, there were people that have been doing that for a minute.
That's true. Yeah.
And so the fact that it's with the Voice Live, the TC Helicon stuff, and with a few other loopers, the Boss pedal, even if you just do those basic loop pedals, a lot of people are getting some great stuff done. It's just really creative. I don't mind that stuff so much. I love to see that live. It's exciting, but just keeps coming back to, when we produce a vocal jazz recording, I feel like it's an arrangement demo, frankly, and but when we have just lined everything up, and so you put these up and people can put comments, I presume, right? So have at it, because I'll follow this and find out what people have said. I'm really interested. I think there'll be some moderately polarizing opinions, and some folks will come in very naturally on the side of, it's all like the pitch thing, that was it, man, that's when we crossed the line. Reverb, okay, that was pretty cool, we need the reverb. Well, why did we need it? I mean, is that fair that we should sound like we're in Salisbury Cathedral, because we weren't. Definitely, we were in a really dry studio. I don't know, but my goal is to find out what really is going to be the future of this, and how can we keep the music exciting, and particularly for young folks, man. I mean, making sure that the young people who have so many options with music, they have all the options. Spotify and Apple Music, they have all the options for music. Are they going to stay interested in this music that grabbed us because of the complex nature? It was a challenge. We get into flow state when we're singing these crazy chords with our friends, and when it goes right, there's big high fives, and that's the live performance. What about recording?
Yeah. Well, let me take this opportunity for a second to just say, I think of it like, he doesn't know I'm going to say anything, but I think of it like there's BKC and AKC, before Kerry Marsh, and BKM and AKM, before Kerry Marsh and after Kerry Marsh, in terms of the evolution of literature in the vocal jazz arena. And I just want to, document this and just say, it is astounding. I've been around for a long, long time. I'm old, and I was just started with Phil Manson a million years ago, and I was around a long time before Kerry was on the scene, actually. And then Kerry came along, and man, everything changed. And you developed a business model and an aesthetic level and a style of helping people learn their charts by virtue of recording, parts, tapes, and stuff like that, which transformed vocal jazz. And it's amazing. Some people may kibitz about this and that, and they say, hey man, it's not straight ahead enough, or it's not jazz all the time, whatever, and that's might be valid. People have a right to their 2 cents, absolutely. But nobody could deny that you transformed this field, and people are singing at a level infinitely higher, I think, than they used to, 15 years ago, because of that. So you are amazing, and I just want to say that out loud.
Geez, thank you. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this, you guys. And that was super nice. I think there was definitely a BMW and an AMW also. That's really clear to me too. Obviously, we're not here just to completely shine each other on, but this is all true. You guys know it. That's why you're watching this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're doing a new thing with you have an arranging thing that you're doing. You want to just mention about that real quick?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool sounding.
It currently doesn't tend to get a lot of followers while I'm live streaming it, but this is a thing. I'm live streaming the arranging process in a thing I call Behind the Chart. I don't know. I'm so creative. That was the name of the thing, and it's on my my YouTube account, which I think you better just search my name at YouTube and then find my channel, because I can't remember even how to find it otherwise. But it's a thing where when I get a commission and I'm ready to start writing, I will live stream it, and so you'll see my Sibelius file on the screen. Most of it is that, and I'm in the corner like I'm a gamer, on Twitch or something, and I just write the process, warts and all. Sometimes wiping out 2 hours worth of work and restarting. But the goal is that the students that have performed a certain chart, after they performed it and lived with it for a bit, maybe one thing they can do is go back and say, well, let me see how this was written from the beginning, and so I think that's kind of interesting to see. They know what's about to happen. I know my tenor part's going to go to this note. Oh, he didn't write that yet. Interesting. Why not? And so I think I've had sometimes a difficult time explaining the writing process to people who ask, and that they ask quite a bit, like, I want to get started in arranging. Where do you start, with the lyrics or the blah, and that's not, I'm sorry, I'm making fun of that question. That's a fine question, but we know that it's variable, and it depends on the song and the way we want to treat it, and so I find it better just to go, I don't know, here it is, I'll just do it. And so
if I can just synopsize, is that a word? Synopsize?
Yeah, it is very much.
It is? Okay. That's the first time I ever used it. I thought I made it up.
The definition will appear right here.
Synopsize. Let me synopsize that like in a couple of words. Kerry's on his YouTube channel doing a series where he's writing a chart live in real time, period, for a few hours. So, grab your cup of coffee, hang out, glance at the mail, check in with Kerry. What's he up to? Oh, cool. He went to the Tritone sub there. Cool. Love that. And it's like, a regular thing. Really a neat idea. And if you are an arranger or want to just get a window of insight into the world, the crazy mind of Kerry Marsh, that would be a good way to do it.
That's
so
right.
Thanks a lot, Kerry, for talking.
Really my pleasure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of
Thanks,
fun.
you guys.
Thanks. If you appreciate this, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. That will be the best helpful thing you can do. Don't forget to visit musichabit.com. That's musichabit.com. Okay. And that's it for now. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.